another tutorial. Here I'm going to briefly explain the exercises that I gave you at the end. So remember at the end of this sheet 1.1, I said you need to add in a game status text that will say game over when health gets to 0, and I also said you need to have a level progression. So this is to test your understanding of how to do if statements and make it into a bit of a game. And we kind of need to keep practicing this, because if we don't do that, then you're not going to get the chance to really understand code. Right, what we first got to do, well, I wanted to introduce this idea of TextMeshPro. So that was the first thing I said here. I said that if we go to the script, which is here, we're going to import another library, TMPro, and then I'm going to come back to here and I'm going to add in a UI element, and it's TextMeshPro. So remember the last one was ones we did were legacy. So Unity likes to improve and upgrade their system, and Text was an old one, but TextMeshPro is the new one, and we are going to call that GameStatusText. Now, to use that, to connect that to our script, we need to have the same type that we've created. So in the same way I create these public text objects, I'm going to create a public TMP object, GameStatusText, like this. And then if I come back to Unity, the code will reload, it should compile. If I click on the main camera and I see the script, we should be able to then see an extra public game object that I can connect the one I've added in the canvas to. So give that a second. And then what we're going to do after that is I'm going to go through how to have fixed the health, which hopefully you should have done. It was just another repeat job. Now you see I dragged GameStatusText over, it connects to that. But if I dragged score or health, it would not connect into that because it is not the same type. So this is something you really have to understand. Variable types are very important. Not just integers and floats and everything, but custom types, Unity types. So coming back to here, so what did I say we then had to do? We then had to create a new if statement in the update method. That would test whether you have input key code S. So if you press S, you're going to decrease player health, and then if it gets to 0, which we need to keep checking for, we need to update that game status text, which we're going to have in the middle of the screen. I think it already is by default to 0. So after that, we're going to have in the update function, we're going to have input get key down key code S. Now, if that is true, we are going to take the health and we're going to minus equal 10 off it. And then we're going to have an else statement where we're going to print the normal health in the top there. And I'm going to put that in there as well, because I want to show the health when it does reach 0. So what else do we need to do? We need to have the same check here like we did before. So we could say if health is less than or equal to 0, then actually we do the update of the text in here. If health is less than or equal to 0, we could update the health there. We're not going to do that there. We're going to have the else there. And then we're going to update the health.text here as well. But the one thing we need to do, which is new here, is take the game status text and say if the health is less than or equal to 0, game status text is game over. Right, so what I've done here is I put in another check for the key code where I'm reducing our private health variable, our private float variable by 10 every time. And then I'm checking this health value on every game loop. If it's above 0, just show the normal health. If it's below 0, update the health one more time, and then say that GameStatusText, .text is equal to game over. So exactly what we did before. And I go back to here. And it compiles. And if I run the game in a second and I press S, then we'll see the GameStatusText will eventually say game over. And the next one I wanted to show you after this was level progression. So let's just see, right, it's already loaded. Now you can't quite see the GameStatusText there. So let's change the color of that. Now, if you change the color of something or any property while it's running, it will switch back to it when you stop it. So this isn't a permanent change, it's just changed it while it's running so you can see how things look, but I didn't want to restart it. So I pressed S and you can see my health is going down, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, game over. So that was a fairly simple one. But the level progression one, so we're now going to create a new text element to display the current level. It is of type TextMeshPro. So I'll just put there. We've already imported it if we've done the one before. And this level variable is going to be initialized to 1, and it's going to probably be in the middle. When the value of the score gets to, say, 200, you win the level and you go on to the next level. So it should say, the GameStatusText should say, the one in the middle should say level 1 completed. So we're going to need to have a private variable called currentLevel as well. So let's add in a couple of variables. This new int currentLevel is private. Don't want anyone to change it. We're going to start off on level 1. Then we're going to have a new public TextMeshPro object, TMP _ text, and this is going to be, what did we say? Going to be called currentLevel again text. And then what we have to do is we need to keep checking the player score. When we get to 200, we win the level, so we update it. I'm just going to reposition some of these things on here. So I'm going to add a new TextMeshPro object here. It's going to be called CurrentLevelText. I'll put that in 2D so I can see it. It did actually save it. Seems to have saved it, the color of it. And we're going to move the GameStatusText. Keep that in the middle. Move this into the top up here. And I think we needed that to be black, didn't we? Because we couldn't see it, so it didn't save it. You see, I changed it while the game was running, but it did not save it. I'm going to put the initial value of that GameStatusText to empty, and then the currentLevelText is going to be initialized to 1. So in the same way we've updated everything else, CurrentLevelText .text, we're going to say you are, so we're concatenating the string, you are on level, and then we're going to add in current level like this. So the current level text will be initialized to that on every game loop. However, so we're going to do another check here for score. If score is greater than or equal to, let's say not 200, let's say 100, then we're going to need to update current level. And also we're going to update the GameStatusText. I'm just going to copy and paste that from up here. So how do we update the current level? We're going to plus equals 1, so just add 1 to it. Of course, there's going to be a problem here. When we get over 100, it's going to keep continually adding 1. So one thing we could do is we could say only when the score equals 100 do we add 1 to it, and we say you are on the next level, and then we print current level. So only when it gets to 100 are we going to update the level and then give them that message. And then we need to tell them in the GameStatusText, then we need to tell them that they are on that level. So let's see how this works. So this isn't going to be completely robust. Basically, we're only going to momentarily see that game status message, and then as soon as it gets past 100, that it might get overridden. But this is okay, you know, you just have to kind of work with code a little bit and play around with it and test it. Like when you have an idea in your head of what you want to make, just try and make it and then see how it works out. So you can't see the GameStatusText because we set it to empty. So I think if I press W, it gets to 100, and then this level thing keeps getting updated now. So it's constantly updating it until I press W again and the text goes up and it tells us we're on the next level. So that's not quite working how we want it. CurrentLevelText, the reason that nothing ever showed is because I created the object in the script and in the canvas, but I did not connect it to there. So if I run this now, we will see the initialized version of the initialized variable CurrentLevelText. You're on level 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But whilst it is 100, it's going to constantly, on every frame, so 60 frames a second, it's going to keep adding 1 on. So maybe you can fix that bug there. So I've made this tutorial, I've kind of explained how you can do this. So give it a go and see if you can fix that bug.